In this video, we're going to discuss some things about presentation variables and applied filters. And regarding applied filters, we're going to see how we can apply some filters on the dashboard level and see what exactly that even means. And when we apply a filter, we're just essentially putting some constraints onto the data that the user sees at any given time. And what's really actually pretty useful about applied filters in Encorta is that the user has no idea actually that any filter has been applied unless we specify somewhere that using a presentation variable that it has been applied. But that is very useful for security purposes or just to have control over what the user can see. So let's add a filter. So let's go, we just click that top right icon, go into applied filters, and let's use a population filter in this instance. And so we just drag population over to that section right there. You can just keep the name population, and let's add an operand. So what we want is greater than or equal to, say, 5 million. So therefore, only states with a population greater than 5 million will show up to the user. So we can save that, and if we do, we will see only 22 states will show up, and if we save that by clicking top right done icon, we do indeed see that 22 states show up, and user does not necessarily know that a filter of a population greater than 5 million has been applied. So if we go to our dashboards again and confirm our filter has been retained. So next step is to introduce presentation variables and to see what use they can be of for the user who will be viewing the dashboard. So let's go to the presentation variable section and add a new presentation variable. And so we'll call this new variable, let's say population greater than 5 million. We won't write that, but it's implied by our previous applied filter. And we'll also call it p_g, data type long. Default value will be 5 million. And click done, so it saves the variable, and go back to applied filters. And let's edit our filter so that it actually uses the presentation variable instead of any specified value as we were doing before. And so we've added that variable, p_g, and it should, the filter, so essentially the filter criteria is still the same because it will be greater than 5, the population will be greater than 5 million for all the states that show up, and but it will be implied by that presentation variable. It won't be made explicit. So there we go. It's the same, the data is the same that is presented to the user, but in what's different is on the top they see that the presentation variable that is being used, and they can also change the criteria by which population is filtered to, say, 9 million, and then we just did that there, so only 10 states show up this time. So that is the difference in using a presentation variable, where the user has more control in this case of changing it on the dashboard level which filter to apply.